This is not how I wanted to do this. I told it to go into portrait and it's not going to do that. All right. Fuck, I don't have anything that's like tall enough to. I'm like literally handholding this, yes. I don't even have an intro because I was anticipating when I changed this to be fucking to being portrait, it would actually work. And Darkstar, welcome in. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to like show you the ceiling for a second until I get something that's actually like tall enough to prop this up and actually be stable. Fuck, I should have done this before, I started. Give me a second. I'm gonna rotate it quickly to the ceiling and there you go. You can look at the light for a moment. Fuck. I need to get some boxes together then. Just something I can stack that will give me some kind of stability. Doggone it. Hi. There's boxes around here. I can use those. I just actually have to get some together. Let's grab a couple. There's another one over here that might work out. Doing it live, man. Doing it live. Let's get another one in there. These aren't being used at the moment anyways. Since, obviously I'm the only one here right now. Let's block the camera. And let me get another one. Ooh, that's got shit in it. Okay. That's fine. I don't think this is going to work quite as well as I hope. We're going to find out. Try not to show the crotch. Alright. That's off kilter. Actually, this whole thing's off kilter. No, now you just see the inside of a box. That doesn't help, right? Alright. Let's try something different. I don't have my glasses case down here. Alright, that one I want to not have something bad happen to it. There's clearly shit in there. How will this work if I open my switch case? Let's try this. This is at least like soft. As I make lots of noise. This is terrible. Move that out of the way. Yep. Look at my hand for a second. Thrilling entertainment. Alright, that's good enough. Lighting sucks, angle kind of sucks, but less chance of actually seeing my crotch. So, hey, we finally did it. I'm actually noticing a lot of. I didn't realize this camera could do it. Maybe it's just with the Twitch app itself. There is what's the term for cameras when it actually kind of like slightly blurs everything else out. I mean, it's obviously it's in focus, but I don't know. Anyways, what today is today? It is Sunday, November 6th. And yeah, I am live, IRL, opening a beer in Denver, Colorado, because that's where I'm at. I've been here since the night of the 1st. I've actually landed here, about 11:35. Sorry the lighting as well. Like, I got a light on over there. I might actually, when I do this again, I might have to adjust it to where some of this lighting is pointing this way. I don't want to like show too much of the house, mainly because it is in a bit of a state, and I know that. Like, every time I obviously the folks I'm house sitting for are friends of mine, and I've known them for quite some time, especially my friend Mia and I just call her name, Brandy. My friend Brandy I've known for like almost 20 years. And the house has always kind of been in a bit of a state, but it's workable, and for the most part, like all the areas that I need access to, like there's a dining room area over here, and there's stuff in there, and it's not the most walkable, but like going through here in the living room and going through the kitchen and going through anything else, it's all perfectly fine. So, but it'd be the same thing if I was in Japan and I was doing a live stream the same way. I don't think I would want to show off much of where I'd be staying at unless I got prior approval to do that. So, just being on the safe side, you know. Actually, I'm gonna put that coaster over here. Put that down right there. So yeah, I think I got in about 11:35. Probably closer. I think our landing time for that flight, pardon me, was been sneezing the past week as well. Clearly, I haven't been around cats a lot, and I don't know. It's like it's also dry, so my sinus has been all kind of crazy. But yeah, we were supposed to, I think, get in like around 11:55 local time. We took off about 9:05, and we were on time leaving Harry Reid, and we were it was a very light flight. Like I think the plane, they said, is like, oh, it carries over 100 people, and there was only 25 people on the flight, which is great. Like all the rows around me were completely empty. They're like, yeah, go ahead and spread out because it's Southwest. You don't have to pick your seat. Like it's open seating, which I'm not used to. This is the first time I've flown Southwest in quite some time. Since probably the last time I flew out to California to visit family, and that would have been over 10 years ago. Because they're usually not the cheapest option anymore. They were post 9/11. Shit, you can get a flight for nothing. But can I actually share this post? No. Okay. I was wondering if I could share it from in app and then post it to Twitter. But I'll have thoughts about Twitter later on. So yeah, being able to sit where I was, it's like I went on board the plane because when I went to Phoenix prior to this, at least when getting on the plane and kind of doing most of my stuff at the airport, I was wearing a KN95, and those are not comfortable after a short while. And I'd been warned about that, and I understand it now because there's not a ton of elasticity to the ear straps, so those start to hurt after a little while. And at least where the nose piece is that you can bend around and fit it to your nose. Pardon me. I also just ate as well. I wanted to eat before I got started. I actually wasn't even sure I was getting on today, but I figured, well, fuck it, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the nose piece on the KN95s just kind of like really rubs against your nose after a little while. It didn't damage it, but it was just not fun. So the less I could wear something like that, the better. The N95s have like the bigger head straps that go down low and high. So there's more, it manages to take off a lot of the tension, so you don't have to worry about your ears getting all fucked up. Plus the N95s I have also have a foam piece around the nose, so it's a little bit more comfortable. Might be overkill, might not be. I didn't wear it until I actually was going to get on the flight. And then once I got on, I realized there's nobody here. I'm like, I just swapped back to my normal mask, and it's about an hour and a half from Vegas to Denver to get to DIA. It was kind of weird though. We were making really good time because they said, oh, it's gonna be 75 minutes, wheels up, wheels down, and I'm like, that seems awfully fast. And we were well ahead of schedule, and I'm wondering if it was just because of less people we didn't have to get to a higher cruising altitude. I have no idea. Flight for the most part was pretty good. I think they fucked up their approach though. We might have gotten, if I remember correctly, the pilot said afterwards we might have gotten too close to somebody else as they were coming in. So as we were making our first approach, I all of a sudden, because at first I'm like, well, where's the landing strip? I can't see anything because it's nighttime. And I go, oh, okay, there it is. And we make a turn, and we're about to make our landing. And then we're kind of about halfway through it, and all of a sudden I can feel the plane nose up, and you get that into your seat feeling. as they start to gain altitude, and I'm like, we're going up again. And just make the fucking turn. We turn back around, come back around, second approach, we're good. And I'm like, what the fuck? Which is actually pretty good because that means I wasn't that early, even though I checked my bag. It wasn't going to take that long to go get it anyways. And I would have been like really, really early getting off the plane and, getting a hold of my friends and being like, hey, I've already landed. This is like 20 minutes before you guys probably would have even taken off to come get me. It's always, there's usually sirens around here. It sounds like a fire truck or an ambulance. You probably can hear it, maybe. But yeah, I actually got off in DIA. Not like that, but I looked around and like, where the fuck am I? Because it felt like I was either in a different terminal. Just, it was a part of, like, I don't recognize any of this. Until I realized I kept walking down because it was like, I think they go down to like in that terminal. I think it was terminal. Was it A or C? Oh no, C. It's terminal C because there's C, A, B, and C, and they usually fly out of C. And it goes all the way down to like C99 now, and I'm like, where the fuck am I? So I just keep heading down the hallway and hit the people movers, and then I eventually get to a lounge it's an American Express lounge. Obviously, you've got a bunch of different lounges within an airport, and I go, oh no, I know exactly where I'm at, and I realized they've built this entire extra wing onto this airport in the last year, and I keep seeing there's more renovations happening in different parts. And when I get to where security is, after you get off the people mover and you're going towards the baggage claim, I go, okay, well, they're doing a shitload of construction around here. Which is not surprising because they're doing a shitload at Harry Reid as well. I feel like all these airports must be like, oh, well, people are going to start flying again, and we can actually pull these construction and renovation efforts off. And fucking Harry Reid needs it when you go through A and B gates. Those are ancient. But just going through that, I go, okay, that's why it felt like it took longer, and I didn't know where I was because it was a area I'd never been in. Past that, though, yeah, you take the people mover. DIA is not a bad airport. I've never had really any problems. Security usually doesn't take that long. Even going through Harry Reid this time, flying out to Phoenix, it was not super busy. But when you get in, I think I flew out of A gates for that one. And I don't like flying out of those, and all of the budget airlines fly out of A and B, and I hate them because they're usually really full, and they're full at really weird times because all the cheap flights are at really weird times. I don't like them. And security, I've had problems in security there where it's taken an exceptionally long amount of time to get through it. So I went through there, and it wasn't too bad, but it was just busy in the terminal, and I overestimated the amount of time I would need. So I ended up spending more time than I wanted to trying to get through that and just waiting there. It wasn't too bad going through Phoenix Sky Harbor, PHX, and then flying out, last Tuesday. It was very quiet, like Seagates. I was hoping I would fly out of Seagates because Southwest usually flies out of there, out of Harry Reid, and it's like, oh no, you're flying out of gate B12, and I went, oh no. That was only busy as some of the flights were leaving, and once those flights left, the terminal was kind of dead. Seagate was really busy, but I think a lot more flights were going out from there. They have expanded that area a lot. I haven't flown out of there in so long. They've renovated and expanded that part of the airport. So that's kind of neat. There's a lot of, I was like looking at it, I was like, there's a lot more shops and shit to do around here, so you don't really get super bored if you're going to wait a couple of hours flying out of there. But at the very least, once you're past security and you're in the A and B gates area, you can always walk over to C. Actually, at that point, you got like kind of free access, except if you want to go to Terminal 3, I think. And there's really no reason to go there. But if you want to go to D terminals or go through A, B, and C gates, you got full reign once you're past security. And I had a little bit of time. I was a bit early, so I got dinner and then I went through security. That didn't take any time. And then I still had a bunch of time left. So I'm like, all right, let's walk around. Because my bag's checked, and all I got is my backpack. Because I also didn't realize with Southwest, I think you can check up to 2 bags for free. It's great. I was like, cool, I can actually take a suitcase this time. I got to pack for a little bit more than I normally would anyways. When I went to Phoenix, I had my backpack and I packed 2 extra sets of clothes and the clothes I was going to wear to my friend Kayla's wedding, and that's it. Nana, welcome in. But that was for this one. Obviously, I needed to bring a lot more stuff. I am in Denver, and drinking, technically, not Denver beer, Fort Collins beer. I don't think I've had this before. The Mothership Wit from New Belgium. There's beer in here. I'm trying to not drink too much. I think the stuff in the fridge is the stuff that I was told, hey, there's some one-offs in there that we want to save, so don't drink them while you're gone. But yeah, I got in late, got here. We at least had a day where before my friends left, it's like, okay, I got stuff typed out and things about the house. It's mostly just taking care of the cats. They already had a bunch of non-perishable stuff that they ordered for me for food, and then I placed they gave me the Safeway app, and they're like, here, make an order. Yep, I am definitely house sitting. House sitting an old 2-bedroom in practically the heart of Denver, taking care of 4 cats. It's an experience. That was the one thing I was more worried about, because their meal times are a bit of prep, and 2 of the cats are getting a little on in years, so I need to give them meds. And one of them we figured out we could just mix it because her medication is suspended in corn oil, and she doesn't seem to mind the taste of it. It's just wrangling her. She's the one. Janice is the one where I'm like, if I try to give her medication normally, she will fight me, and she's already in pain anyway. So I don't want to hurt her. She will fuck me up probably. So we figured out, okay, we could probably just mix it into her food. It's not going to hurt the other cats, but I'll have to watch her bowl and just make sure she finishes or put anything else off to the side. Willow doesn't have anything major. Like, Janice's one is for pain, and it's like, hey, if you can't give it to her, don't worry about it. She's just going to be pissy a little bit more because she's obviously in pain. Willow has, she usually has problems where she overly grooms. She'll pick at areas. She'll try to pull hair out. So they've been giving her children's Benadryl. That one, you cannot mix into her food. It's bubblegum flavored. She will not eat the food, and she's usually kind of she kind of eats pretty fast. They actually give her less food because she's so small. They don't want her to gain too much weight. They keep her at a good weight. So with hers, I do have to corral her. I fucked it up a couple of days where I managed to give it to her, and she's very much a drama queen about it. But they usually time the medicine giving for her right around mealtime, either in the morning, if it's Dan doing it, or if Brandy's doing it, it's usually at night. That way, once it's done, you can feed her. She can get the taste out of her mouth a little bit easier. She can eat. Everything's cool. I was giving it a couple hours before dinner, and Brandy was like, yeah, it might be confusing her a little bit. Try to give it to her around then. So I felt bad about that because, yeah, Will is just kind of like, if she sees that or thinks like, oh, you're going to come and pick me up, she'll fight you on it. But those 2, Jet's one, I haven't seen her too much. She is kind of a daddy's girl. She won't make a whole lot of... she's not happy, obviously, that they're gone. And she knows me, but not like super well. Wally's over here snoring. The only thing I gotta watch out for him, he's part Persian, so of course he's prone to the sinus stuff. So for his benefit, and as well as kind of mine, I've been running a humidifier a little bit that's in the kitchen. That way it can kind of keep things moving, and because you gotta watch out if it starts to get bloody or anything else, or it gets stuffed up. But he'll get the sneezes and stuff like that. It's nothing too crazy, but obviously going from not dealing with cats like often to here's 4 cats to take care of, it can be a thing, and it's a good excuse for me to get up on time because they're generally not coming to bother me, but I like to feed them 10:30, 11 in the morning, and then I'll feed them 12 hours later, and then we're kind of good. And they're a little bit more hangry in the morning, since they're like, oh, you haven't fucking these little munchkins. So I fed them slightly earlier yesterday because I was going out. I was gonna go for a walk. I was gonna go track down the Japanese bakery I knew of. It's about 2-ish miles from here. So I was like, I want to leave early enough to where they still actually have stuff. So I'm like, I don't want to feed you guys too early, but I'm gonna feed you slightly earlier. That way I can get ready, I can have a little bit of breakfast, and then I can go for my walk. I get back just before 1, and two of them, Wally and Janice, just get set up in their positions in the kitchen, and they're like, okay, it's mealtime, and I just look at them and laugh and go, you know, mm-mm. It's like, I already fed you, you ate, you both finished. So, uh, Jet, I know, was not eating as much. She was eating, but not like finishing her food, and I would kind of leave it, or I've had to, uh, I'm hoping it's something they can break her back of, and I already warned Brandy about it, where like, hey, yeah, she'll eat and then she'll leave, and I'll have to kind of reposition and move the bowl to where she's at, and she'll be out like just outside the kitchen, but I don't think they were trying to do that with her, where it's like, hey, you need to leave, trying to leave the bowl in the kitchen, that way she'll stay there and she'll finish and she'll eat, as opposed to trying to be like, oh, I'll go over here and you'll just bring it to me. I'm more concerned right now just about her eating, because it didn't seem like she was eating a lot. But I know last night and this morning she finished her food, so that's good. Her and Janice are just really slow eaters. Willow finishes pretty quickly. Wally will finish like 90% of it. He might walk away and then he'll come back and finish it. Everybody checks all the bowls anyways. And of course, yeah, they always act like you never feed them. But that's not the case. They get fed twice a day. So I got to make sure to give them treats tonight, though. Yeah, especially to Willow for being for putting up with me. But it's not been too bad. I think I heard a raccoon on the ceiling a couple nights ago. It scared the shit out of me because it was kind of loud, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? Because otherwise the house doesn't, like, the floors creak because they're wood. This house kind of old, but for the most part I haven't seen anything too weird. Squirrels everywhere. The trees most of them have shedded most of their leaves. Is it Thursday? Thursday it snowed. It got cold enough. It was threatening rain, and then it snowed. It dropped about 2 to 5 inches, depending upon the area of town, and it stuck around for at least a good portion of the following day. It was actually a massive pileup on one of the freeways. I thought it was closer to me than it was. It wasn't, but obviously it froze, and it was like 100-car pileup. I don't think there was like major injuries or anything like that, but obviously people fucking just. You would think they would have that more understood here. It's like I think it snowed already prior to this, but DNC actually was just like, I hope you weren't involved in this. I'm like, that happened this morning, and I was asleep, and I'm here at the house, and my friends are gone, so I'd have to be in a car and awake, and in that part of town. It's just kind of like I get it, but like, dude. Like, if this was at like 7, 8 in the morning, I didn't wake up till like a couple hours past that, and I was nowhere near it. And they weren't near it either because they left earlier than that. They were already on their way to the East Coast. So I don't know. I don't know how the hell he's kept up with his streams. He's tried it. He's on vacation. Like, he's on the road, like, let me do my streams in the hotel room. Like, dude, just take a week off, for fuck's sakes. I don't know. Anyways. I got a text message. I'm like, what is it on screen? I do like how it's. I'm hoping the connection's pretty good. Oh no, that's part of what I'm getting at. Actually, I'm trying to light my face better. That works. That's part of what pisses me off is that, and that's, I'm just gonna rant on it. He's been kind of upsetting me lately, anyways. Like right before the week before, I went to Phoenix. We were supposed to go, like, we went to the movies the previous night, and then we were going to Friday movie night. And he lets me, like, the original plan was he wanted to go to Tenaya Creek Brewery and hit up a food truck there. He was going to get a hold of his cousin Steven, and we were going to go and be like, oh yeah, we'll get over that at like 4. We'll have a couple beers. We'll have some food. That'll be our dinner plan for the day. Perfectly fine. And at first, like the previous night, he doesn't want to get a hold of Steven. It's like 9:30. Pardon me. It's like 9:30, and it's like, dude, just send him a fucking message. It's like, oh, I don't want to wake him up. It's, you know, he's going to be working in the morning. I'm like, just hit him up. Because he might still be up anyways, and he's an adult. We're all adults. We know how to set our phones to not fucking disturb us when we're sleeping. There's a reason why these phones all now have these options. Because people requested them. It's useful. I use it all the time. Like, after 1, you're not going to fucking disturb me. At all. I will not see it until I pick up my phone and look at it and go, oh, okay, I got, you know, something that came in. You will never fucking disturb me. And if it wakes me up, it's usually because it's after the point where it turns off, and at that point, it's like, whatever. It's like, you know, 9 or 10 anyways. Who cares? So that didn't work out, and now that plan went out the window. But he's like, hey, I'll get you at 4:45. I was like, okay, cool. That gives us enough time to get food on the way over to the house. I let the Kindreds know, hey, don't worry about, you know, including me on the food plan when you guys pick stuff up. I'm just going to get something on the way. Lo and behold, and not to much of my surprise, but still to my consternation, I check and I'm like, okay, well, I haven't heard anything from him. I check around 4:45 that day, and he's just at that point ending his stream. Now I'm just, and this happens so much where it's like, he doesn't start his stream on time. He talks for fucking 30 to 45 minutes before he's even supposed to start. And then it goes longer than it should anyways. Which wouldn't be a problem if he started at noon. It's like, dude, you got more than enough time. He does this on his work days, where he's like, he leaves himself literally enough time, sometimes no time, like where he's just like, okay, I got to put work clothes on and leave. And in other cases where it's like, you have obligations that you've committed to. We're doing stuff with people, and you still start late. And in this case, it's like he mentioned, because I know the pathway he takes from his house to get to mine to pick me up. And obviously I say all this, it's like, he's my ride, but like, that's the thing. He's my ride. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do Friday nights over at the Kindreds, because it's too far. It would take too long to get to and from, especially if we're finishing up at midnight, 1 a.m. I'm not busting home from fucking Lake Mead on that. Sorry, it's not happening. But I know the route he's been taking from his house to mine has had some construction, and he blames it on that. And I'm just kind of like, that would put you behind. Yes, it would. However, you're also like almost an hour late in general. Yeah, and he relies on the navigation a lot, and then goes, oh, what fucked up? I'm like, you've lived here long enough. You know how to navigate this shit. Just drive. But that's the same thing. Like, he relies on the cruise control, and the cruise control uses Google Maps, and it has its own fucking wonky problems too. And then he'll yell at it, and I'm like, it's like, I don't know. Anyways, so he's late on that, and I am fucking mad. So I'm like, I still got to pick up food. I already told them I'm getting stuff. Kit had already been like, hey, we can get a hold of Kate and see if she can include you in on this. She's still picking it up. Maybe we can get on there. I was just like, I'm not going to have her do that. She already knows what you guys want. Let her do that. I'm not going to, I told you guys with more than enough time. It's not your fault. It's technically not even my fault. And one of my biggest pet peeves is I fucking hate being tardy. And this is something I've drilled into myself, taking public transportation for so long. I want to be on time, even if it means I'm really early. It's like, I'll fuck off and I'll go do something else, to kill time. I'm perfectly okay with that. Sometimes it's annoying, but it's whatever. I'd rather be early. When I worked downtown, I was usually 45, 50 minutes early. And that's extra time I would love to have back for something else, but it also meant I was never late to work except for very rare circumstances. So with him being late, it makes me late. They're aware, the Kindreds are aware I'm not the issue. So I'm not the issue on that. This is not a new thing to them. This is a thing that as long as they've known him, that's where it is. As long as all of us have known him. God, remember the days when he didn't have a cell phone and we had to get a hold of him? Or we were like, where the fuck is he? We didn't have any fucking clue. We were just like, okay, guess we're just gonna sit here. Fuck, man. So I'm pissed. I still gotta pick up food. We still gotta get all the way, we gotta get across town. We get there, he's, being sheepish about pulling into different places. We miss a turn, he gets upset. I eventually just snap and I go, just fucking park the car anywhere. Let me get my goddamn food. We're already an hour late. And this was also a problem when we started doing movie nights again earlier this year, was the first time we were supposed to go, we were like almost 2 hours late because he wanted to pick up food, didn't order it ahead, didn't block out enough time to do it. This is like the one time where I'm like, dude, we haven't done this in almost 2 years. We should not be late. Like, let's be on time. But no, the food plan was made without their input. It was not something they wanted. It was all these things. I was like, oh my God, this is driving me nuts. So, and this has just been a kind of a building thing anyways. And I'll be honest, I've kind of not really responded to a lot of things unless I kind of need to, where it's like, hey, there is a response. And after that Friday, I was like, I am so glad that I am getting out of town for like the next month, almost month. I went to Phoenix, was back for like a day and a half, and then I'm here until the 16th. So I won't even see anybody until the 16th. What, is that a Wednesday? Let's see. Why is that showing me that? Okay. No, election. Yeah, I get it. Election day. Show me the fucking... Whatever. I think it's a Wednesday. So it won't be till like the 18th, whatever the week is, week or two before Thanksgiving. And I told Kid, I'm just like, I'm glad. Because he did that. There was the Nevada Day stuff. So there was like a Nevada Day themed thing that all the breweries in Las Vegas and probably throughout the rest of Nevada were doing. So he spent like 4 days going to a bunch of different places with his mom and trying different beers and having food and everything. And I was kind of like, that's great. I'm glad I'm not there for that because I would get burned out so fucking fast. And I think I'm burned out just because I've spent so much time over the last couple of years with the same people. And I just needed I needed a break. And I'm also at least a little bit upset that his work schedule's changing in February because that's ending Friday movie night. So it's like, okay, well, the thing I like doing is no longer going to happen. I get the reasoning. I 100% get the reasoning as to why, he changed his work schedule. It's to preserve the money he's making. It's to preserve his schedule. And it really would be this, especially with a couple of years left with what he's doing, changing it from like, hey man, you've been swing shift, fucking work from 7 a.m. That's a tough change. And the money thing is very much, I can get it, but it's also kind of like, fuck man, that's just destroying what I have going on right now. And I don't have a whole lot going on right now. So yeah, and I've done that. I used to do, when I worked for Office Max, I did it for like a month. I swapped from working swing shift to working like 4 a.m. to noon, and it fucked me up bad. And did I cut myself? Not really. There's a slight slice in my skin. Can't see it, but I guess with his line of work, working that the shift that he's on actually gives you a pay boost. So if he actually left and worked earlier, it would not be he would lose that pay boost. And once he explained it, I'm just like, okay, that part that would piss me off if I lost it. So even if he didn't want to change days, and I know with the way with where he's working, They reclassified everybody, so even though within his particular department, he's, I think, the most senior within the area they work in general, he's no longer the most senior, so he lost out on it. Union stuff. Why not? So, I get it. But yeah, when I worked more early mornings, that was really bad. And I only did that because it was supposed to come with a pay increase. And then when my boss is like, yeah, we can't do that anymore. I'm like, cool, fuck, put me back on swing. I'm not doing this shit anymore. Like it fucked me up way too bad. Yeah, that means in February, no more Fridays. He's going to have different days off. I don't know what's going on by then anyways. I had one call with a recruiter this week for DraftKings, and it was not something I necessarily wanted to do. They reached out. I said, fuck it. I got to fill a spot on my unemployment claim, my weekly unemployment claim anyways. So I will fucking put it on there. They got a hold of me. I talked to them. It was really not quite what I was expecting anyways, because it was more dealing with setup of hardware and equipment on site than anything else. And they had mentioned, oh yeah, well, I talked to the hiring manager for this every Friday, so expect an email from me tomorrow. That was, let's see, I talked to them on Thursday. They were supposed to get a hold of me by Friday. I never heard anything, so I was just like, okay. I'd be mad, but I'm really not. But other than that, everything else has stopped responding, and I don't get a whole lot of hits anymore. And obviously the marketplace for available workers, since Twitter has fucking become a dumpster fire on that end. Obviously they're trying to bring some of them back because they fired them and they went, oh fuck, we actually need those people. So hopefully they'll either they'll tell Elon to fuck off, or they'll get a nice little pay bump on the way back and get some better protections. But I don't know. I'm once I can figure out how I can follow the people I actually want to follow on Twitter without having an account, I'm looking, if I can figure that out pretty soon, I'm looking probably by the end of the year, just completely killing my Twitter account and being done with it. We'll see. That might change. But maybe he'll see my tweets if I tweet at him enough, and he'll just ban me anyways. But yeah, I needed this time, and I'm not even sure when I get back how much I want to hang out outside of just like movie nights, because I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I guess maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being pissy. I am being pissy lately a little bit more than I would like to be. But the fact that I've been out of work since the end of July, and I'm still not making unemployment. I still don't know. Last time I heard from one of my buddies that was also at Skills, the unemployment board in Nevada is up to June for their backlog. So they're pretty close. They'll eventually look at mine, but I'm not pulling that yet. I'm still okay for now and for a little while longer in terms of handling shit, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But it just sucks having to, go through that money and use it for this, when it's like that's what the unemployment's for, is to take care of these things. And not having anything else kind of crop up in the meantime, it sucks, and it's made me really bummed out. But I've talked about that a little bit. It's made me actually have more insomnia than I've encountered lately. Like, I sleep like shit. It hasn't been too bad here, but it's different bed, different pillow arrangement, different areas. So of course my sleep's a little wonky on that anyways. And of course today it's been kind of weird because I'm an hour ahead of everybody else that I know generally, unless of course they're already in like Eastern or Central time. And we fell back early this morning. So like earlier in the day when I was picking up food from nearby, pardon me, I was walking around. It was cloudy today. And I was like, why does it feel like it's like already, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening? And I go, no, it's not even 2:30. So it's already getting kind of weird on that. And it's going to be getting darker sooner. It's going to be lighter sooner. Being here, being kind of warm. Thankfully, they replaced the furnace here at the house. And it works very well because I went outside when it snowed and I'm like, okay, it's pretty cold outside. And then you come back into the house and you're like, okay, it's toastier here. Because I've been here before in the past and it can get really cold in this house. And that's not been the case lately. So it's kind of nice to not have to like super bundle up. I got my freshly cleaned, did a little bit of laundry today. I got my freshly cleaned sweatpants on. So I probably need to change socks though. These are a little warm. Probably don't need those. But yeah, like when I got here, I was nervous. I'm getting less nervous about being here and getting more into the habit of taking care of stuff. And it's kind of nice just to have something to do. And even if it's not like a ton of stuff, and there's things I still want to go do. A couple places I want to eat at. I know there's the Torchy's. That's north. It's north on, technically it's on Broadway, and but I'd have to take Lincoln up because they're one-way streets when you actually get to this area. But I want to head up there, and that's close to the Denver Art Museum, and I haven't been there in a while, so I'd like to go hit that up for the first time in a while. I already hit up the bakery I wanted to go to over off of Pearl Street, South Pearl Street. That'll take them back to. We'll go and get some stuff. What else? I kind of wanted to make my way back out to Westminster to go back to Akihabara Arcade. Might do that anyways, but I think I'm gonna need like the expensive pass because that's gonna be mostly rail to get out there. But I think I can take the bus from here to Union Station and then catch the train up to Westminster, and there's a bit of walking, but it's like I think an hour to get out there, so it's not too bad. Trying to think of other things I wanted to do. Because they had Illegal Pete's today. I got a burrito bowl from them, and I haven't had that in quite a while, and that was pretty good. What else? There's a Culver's. There's a Culver's actually on Broadway, but it's real South Broadway, down in Littleton. But that probably would be easier to get to than walking from the one that's near Akihabara Arcade. But I want to go there potentially. Denver Biscuit Company's nearby, and they're really good. Like there's lots of stuff around here, especially off of Broadway. There's a ton of things. It's name what you want. There's a really good fucking cafe I like around here, so it's kind of nice to have that. And I haven't been around in different parts of the city in a while, and I don't think I'm gonna get too far out of the city limits. Probably no trip to Boulder. I've been wanting to go up to Longmont for a while, and go to the Left Hand Brewery, but there's always another trip on that. The hell was that noise? Is it you, buddy? I'd pick up Wally, but he's napping. He's over in the recliner. But yeah, there's stuff I'd like to do, but obviously the main thing is watching the house, taking care of the cats. Obviously between meal times, it's not much to do. I really haven't seen a ton of people go through because the way all the houses are old enough and the streets are small enough, but there's alleyways that cut through like right behind here so you can access the garages and stuff like that, and trash cans and recycling are back there and everything. So you might have to watch out for people there, and there's a bit of damage from the trees that used to be here that fucked up the back fence there. So I went and took some trash out yesterday, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, hey, is this fence supposed to be that way? And they're like, yeah. Like partly because of the trees, partly because whoever planted this garden at one point in the past did a really shitty job, and it just fucking expanded and fucked up a bunch of things, so that has to be redone. But watching out for that, there's a little side deal over here to watch out for anybody that's coming through. But I mean, they have the neighbors, and they're good friends with the neighbors, so anything's amiss. I haven't seen them, but I mean, I believe they're aware I'm here and taking care of stuff. Again, I keep thinking I'm hearing like a breathing. Betty, Wally. No? Maybe it's outside. I don't know. I keep hearing something at least. But yeah, I think they're aware, and I got all this, got all the stuff, and they're like, yeah, the cats just all got checkups anyways, so they don't have to worry about You don't have to worry about anything bad happening. Like, they're all in good enough shape. It's just try to give them these things. Like, if you can't and you're unsuccessful, don't worry about it. Just be aware of, what it's going to be like. But since I think I have that system mostly down. Get out of here, moth. It was a moth. Well, since I have that system down, it hasn't been that big of an issue. So it's more kind of like, at that point, figuring out what I want to do. And I don't want to spend a ton of money, but, take advantage of being here at least. The only bad part about going to Phoenix was I didn't have enough time. I got there on a Friday afternoon and had Saturday, but the wedding was on Saturday, so I had enough time to basically get up, get ready, kill some time at getting breakfast and coffee from one of the cafes near my Airbnb, and then heading down to the hotel downtown that was going to be the venue, being there pretty much all day, and then going back, getting cleaned up, and going to bed, then getting up early enough the next morning to shower, clean everything up, get all my stuff repacked, and get out of there a couple hours before I needed to check out. And then I had free time then, but I went a little bit north from that to a Japanese garden, a friendship garden that was near there. That I figured was going to be bigger and take up more of my time. I at least got a walkthrough. I got a walkthrough done with my Osmo Pocket, so I can get that put together and uploaded when I get back home and have access to a computer. So I was gonna potentially do that when I was back home, but I was like, no, I'm gonna do laundry and take it easy and not worry about it too much. I will handle it when I get home from Denver. But then I had like more free time than I really anticipated there. Pardon me. So I ended up walking out. My friend told me, she's like, hey, go to the Heard Museum. You'll like it. So I went up there, did that for a little bit. Had a little bit of extra time and realized, I can actually go to Whataburger because they have them in Phoenix. So I went and got Whataburger and then walked down to the train station and went to the airport. So it was pretty whirlwind. And I know she was sad that she couldn't see and talk and hang out with people as much. But I'm like, it's like, lady, you were prepping for this event, and obviously day of, you're going to be busy doing stuff for it anyways. We at least got to hang out and talk. I got to chill out with people that I hadn't seen in quite some time, most of which don't work for 2K anymore. So we were able to commiserate and talk shit about people we don't like, which was great, especially with at least one of them that was a lead when I worked there, became a manager, and then left because they were like, they had got up to that point thinking, finally, maybe I can do something about this place now that I'm in a position to be able to do things on it. And they realized, no, the problem's at the very top, and they're not going to let you make that change. They're going to run this place the way they want to run it, and you're going to do exactly what they want you to do. And they realized, okay, it's like, I've spent enough time here and I've done this long enough. I cannot do this anymore. So for their own mental health, they left. Them and at least one other person that was supposed to show up, they got sick, unfortunately, so they couldn't come. But they had left too, because they both started at 2K around the same time, both made manager around the same time, and both, once they got to that position, were just like, fuck. So they got out when they could. I think only one person that showed up that I knew from 2K still worked there, but like, they were never going to be a problem. It's like they were along for the ride too. So let's take advantage of the bar, and you guys can have beers or White Russians. I had a bunch of Trulies, and along with my glass of champagne at dinner for the toast. I actually gave a speech for that. I'm hoping somebody filmed it, at least for me to see it, so I can cringe at it later. So I know, God, was that in the instructions? But there was time during the way everything was laid out to give a speech, and I know at some point in one of the things that we were given, it's like, keep it relatively brief, because if there's a bunch of people that want to give speeches, don't hog all the time. So her mom gave one, and my friend's husband gave her mom, his mom gave one. Then her dad gave one as well, and I was wondering who the guy was because it's like, why does it feel like he's going on forever? And it's like, oh no, it's her dad, and she's warned me about that before. But they did that. The groom's best friend gave a speech, which was really nice. Nice guy. Flew down from Alaska for the event, but like they had flown up to for his wedding when it was actually like in the dead of winter. I don't know why they did it, but timing is what it is. So of course he's like, okay, now that we're able to finally do this, because my friend was supposed to, her and her husband were supposed to get married in 2020, and we were supposed to do a thing then. Obviously it didn't happen, so they legally got married then, and they were just now having the ceremony. But once the groom's friend was done, he's looking around. Anybody else want to give a speech? And I had thought about it because I was a couple drinks deep at that point, and I'd only had like a protein bar and a big hunk of coffee cake. So I was, not an empty stomach, but I was like, okay, now I'd crank back that first one pretty quickly. And I was thinking about it when everybody was starting to give speeches. And once he was done, he's looking around. I'm just like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. So of course my heart's pounding at that point, and I have an idea of what I want to say, but I was just like, oh fuck, most of these people I don't even know. Oh well. So I get up, and it wasn't a whole lot. It was me talking about who would have thought when me and my friend had started working on Mafia 3, because they had worked on other stuff. They started out on Evolve, they'd moved to different things, and eventually kind of worked their way into the manager friend of mine. I'm not giving names, so it doesn't really help. It's kind of hard keeping things together, but I don't want to name them anyways, just in case. But they had worked together a lot, and my friend had become more or less the strategy person. She actually just her last game before she changed jobs, she worked on Age of Empires 4 as a lead. MCG, welcome. Thank you very much for the snow alerts. Snow alerts. Don't use those points unless you got them. I'm doing this from a phone. Hopefully it's held up pretty well. But when I met her and started talking with her, we worked on Mafia 3. And it was like, who would have thought 6 years ago when we first met that I'd be here, in downtown Phoenix on this terrace giving a speech at your fucking wedding. But, talking about, it's like we were usually the first people in the building, because we were first people in the building almost always. And, we always had our coffee talks, or I would always think of it as the bit from Saturday Night Live, the coffee talk, which I think is funny because Kayla's I just named her, whatever. She's Jewish, so I always thought that was funny. But it's like, just being like, it was always fun talking to her because she was always somebody who understood me, didn't judge me for who I was, didn't give me a hard time when I got shit wrong or was just wrong about something. But it was, challenging me. It's like, hey, maybe your outlook on this is a little off. Maybe you should, take a look at it, analyze it a little bit. And I think that made me a better person. I apologized to her husband. It was just like, we've only met a couple of times, so I don't know you as well as I would like, But at the same time, it's like, my friend's, she's a really good judge of character. And if you two are together and, you've been together a long time, you split apart after college and then you got back together. Like, if you two are together, it's meant to be. She knows what she wants. And she's a good judge of character, as I said. So if you guys are together, it makes sense. It's supposed to be the way it is. And, just toasting to them and saying, I wish nothing but the best for you. And I appreciate that you have allowed me to be here and be a part of this. And then I didn't really have much of an ending after that. I didn't have a sign off. So I just kind of like, I'm dying up here. I don't have an ending for this. Anybody else want it? I ended up being the last speech. So I walk up because, the groom's motioning me up here. It's like, yeah, go ahead and bring it back up here. We'll take the mic back. And, hand the mic off. And my friend, she gets up from the table and I can barely fucking see. Like, for whatever reason, I guess maybe it was the lower elevation. Like, I felt kind of funky that whole weekend. I wasn't sick, but I was just kind of off. you know? Just kind of like being here, I feel off a little bit just because I'm like way, Mile High City. But being there, it's like I can't see shit anyways. But I can kind of see the look on her face. Like I can't tell if she's crying, but it's kind of a good it was good because she gets up and she gives me the fucking like those hugs when somebody fucking means it. Like it's just this big tight hug. And she thanks me, and I was at that point I was like, okay, I'm glad I stood up. I'm glad I said something, that I got outside of my comfort zone for this and made a speech, and the groom thanked me later about it. He said something that really stuck out to me, and it was as I thanked him, I'm just like, I really appreciate it because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel important in your life, especially hers, that you guys invited me. And it's like that you invited me back when we were supposed to do this originally. And he had said that there's blood relatives on both sides of the family that they didn't invite because they're just like, it was going to be a problem. It's like we only wanted people here that we wanted here, that we knew, we wanted to have around and have, that would make sense. And that meant a lot to me. And being able to, having that and seeing people I hadn't seen in years and kind of letting some of that frustration out and hearing more people that aren't there and had been further into that 2K food chain than I had been and had seen more than I had seen and realizing I'm not fucking crazy, that place is full of shit and they've seen it and they can attest to it, made me feel better. It made me feel good to talk to people. Oddly enough, it made me feel good that we didn't wear masks during that. And I'm not saying that as a, hey, fuck that. It was kind of nice to just have that connection with people that you hadn't seen in a while. And I feel like I would have had too much of a barrier. And it is kind of a barrier. People that were sick weren't there. And everybody was cool. And knowing the folks that were getting married and or at least having the ceremony, it's like they would not have people there that weren't on the up and up. So it was nice. It was really cool. And being able to, meet friends of hers that she worked with out in Phoenix and just new people. I was not sure about making that trip literally up to the moment I left and even when I got there. And after doing all that, I felt great. And to have a good next day where I get to see some stuff I hadn't seen before, explore a little bit around Phoenix, and of course have that Whataburger with cheese, them fresh French fries, and that spicy ketchup, the limited batch number 2 with the hot sauce. That's good ketchup. They don't sell that in bottles, unfortunately. It was nice. It was nice, and it's been nice being here too, just to be away from the normal shit. It's kind of lonely. There's 4 cats in the house, but they're all sleeping. Like 3 of them are upstairs. They're all in my room that I'm using right now. Only Wally's down here, and he's fucking asleep. So I'm not gonna drag him over here. I might. He's being good. He's sleepy. They'll probably crash out. They'll eat. They'll get the spice, and they'll fucking run around. And then by like 1 o'clock, everything will be good, and I'll go to bed. But yeah, being here and seeing different things and being able to walk around this neighborhood is really cool. It's a pretty old neighborhood. There's a lot of some newer houses and apartment buildings, renovated ones or, completely brand new ones, or some just really old houses. It's a historical neighborhood. So, I always like being here. And it's nice to be away from everything I'm usually around. And, especially stuff that just, frustrates me or bums me out. Obviously, I got to go back to it at some point, but it is what it is, and I'm trying to take advantage of things as I can right now. So, have not been playing many video games though. I have my Switch here with me, and I haven't used it. I've been using the Xbox One S that they have. I'm pissed. I know I got that free copy of Rare Replay they gave out a few years ago. I don't know if my Game Pass subscription fucked it up because I don't have the entitlement anymore. And I can't find it in my games list. I can't download it. And most of the stuff I have on my account is Xbox 360 games, and a lot of those don't work on Xbox One. They're not backwards compatible. So there's a bunch of shit where I'm like, hey, this kind of works. I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't have any of the DLC for the Xbox 360 version of Castlevania Harmony of Despair, the multiplayer game, and I have Symphony of the Night for Xbox 360, but I got all the achievements for that a long time ago. So it's like, whatever. So the one thing I really wanted to play was Rare Replay, and I can't play it. So I at least still have, I have the Twitch app on there, and I've been watching Godzilla movies as they've been running them on Shout Factory and Tokusatsu the last couple nights. I have Disney Plus, obviously, although I might have to get their login soon since I might lose access to Netflix at some point. If I can get their Disney Plus login and use it at home, that'd be great, because that means I can cancel my subscription because the price is going up soon. I at least caught up on Andor. I started Mandalorian Season 2 and did watch more of that. I've watched at least a couple episodes of Ultraman Decker because I'm behind on that. Big shock. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what? And that happened to me on PlayStation. I had the PlayStation Plus version of MGS5, The Phantom Pain. And when my Plus subscription ran out, but when I bought the 2 years of Now before they converted all those accounts, I went to fire up my install, and it converted it from Plus to PlayStation Now. And then when it disappeared from PlayStation Now right before they did the changeover, I couldn't boot it anymore. And then once it became a PlayStation Plus account again and I had access to all my other stuff, I didn't have Phantom Pain anymore because it changed the entitlement, and then the entitlement went away because they pulled it from the service, and now the service doesn't exist anymore technically. So, and I had 3 months of PC Game Pass, but I think it would still do the exact same thing because you got Rare Replay on Game Pass, and that it's just like, well, if you sign up for Game Pass, I'm like, I'm not signing up for Game Pass. That means I never installed this, but because I was a Game Pass customer at one point, anything that was on there got converted automatically. So I'm like, it's the one thing I really wanted to play. I really wanted to play Blast Corps, so, and Perfect Dark. Oh well. At least I can play GoldenEye when they add it to Switch Online. So that's good. I don't know how much I brought a bunch of stuff to play. I have no idea how much I'm going to play of it. I'm kind of not in the mood to play stuff right now, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get bored enough, but for the most part, YouTube keeps me occupied enough as I'm watching shit. But I meant to film my trip down to the bakery yesterday, and that didn't happen. I'm still really nervous about filming in public and drawing attention to myself, so that's cool. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot. What time did I start? It doesn't even show me a time. It just says end. Whatever. Yeah. Not a whole lot else to talk about. Because I know I at least wanted to stream once while I was here and try it out and see how it is. Obviously, next time I need to change the position I'm in and get better lighting, because obviously this side of my face is not lit like that, I guess. But still, I have 2 lights on too. Like, I have an overhead light and I have this light, but because there's no light over here, it's completely off. But yeah, doing okay ish. At least I'm like getting up and going to sleep pretty consistently right now. My sleep's still pretty restless, but that's kind of to be expected in general, and we're not being at home, it's even more expected. But doing okay. Got all the stuff I need here. I think I got set up with just about everything I need, and obviously the instructions for everything helped out, because especially as I was mentioning early on with feeding the cats, like it's a thing. You got to weigh everything out, and different times of day they get different things. Willow, I know in the morning doesn't get anything in particular, but her food gets some plaque off and a one pump of fish oil into her food, and obviously I've been adding Janice's medicine to her food. everybody gets plaque off at the end of the day. Wally, since he's got his nasal things, he gets a scoop. It's little tiny scoops too. He gets a scoop of lysine in his L-lysine in his food as well every time he gets fed. So, and just kind of setting everything up. Like I'm getting faster at it, clearly. Like at first it's kind of like it's like now it's like boom 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 boom, and watching over. It's a bit of a process again since Jet and Janice kind of eat slow, so I try to. I don't think Dan really goes too much into that. I think Brandy's a little bit more like, oh, I'll keep over it. Like I just kind of like, if everybody else is done, but there's the other slow eaters walk away and then come back, I'm like, okay, I'll leave it down here. So it's like an hour process overall, like preparing, giving it to them. Two of them will finish early. Willow usually sits there because she's like, hey, I want more food. And I'm like, okay, well, if you sit there long enough and everybody else is done and you're still there and you've been good and you haven't tried to snipe anybody else's bowl, I might give you it's okay. That was told to me. It's like, if she's good about it, give her a teeny bit extra. It's fine. She's already getting less food than everybody else anyways to keep her weight in check. So, but yeah, not much else to talk about. So, yeah, what time did I start? What time did my message come through on Discord? I'm glad it actually let me. I'm still pissed I put the camera in portrait. I guess you just can't do portraits, and it's going to be off-center anyways. Like, it's off-center because I'm looking at chat. So, I guess anybody else that has that. But, yeah, I thought I set the camera to portrait, so when it's like, hey, turn your phone to start up. Was it 4:35? Really? Oh, so it's 5:35 for me. Okay, that makes sense. So I got mountain time. Okay. Oh, yeah, over an hour. Cool. If I at least do hour streams, that's great. Get the guns. Not really. Still got some definition. Yeah. My arms are still fucking skinny as shit. Like, there's some definition, but I don't have a lot of muscle. That's one thing I'd like to work on is upper body strength eventually. But these are not workout streams. And these tend to start on time. And I also tend to schedule them to where they don't interfere with everything else. We actually deviated away from that, and here we're back on it again. Yeah, that guy loves to fucking... And I've even told him that. I think I've told him that. Where I'm like, I don't know how to broach some of those subjects without, like, being, like, super naggy about it. But I'm like, dude, your stream gets in the way of your life. And it'd be one thing if, hey, you're getting, like, 100, 200 fucking viewers, you're getting a lot of subs, you're making a pretty decent amount of money doing it. You're making no fucking money out of it. You get about the same amount of viewers as I do. And, you want to keep up with it, that's great. The fact that it gets in the way of your life and it gets in the way of everything else and it makes you tardy for shit, there has to be a point, and that's the thing too, is he's obviously tardy a lot. And I'm thinking about it with what he's been doing, what he's doing this weekend, since he's on vacation as well. And I'm just kind of like, man, you're out there visiting somebody that you want to be involved with. And if that ever worked out, and if I'm being blunt, it's not going to. Not for as long as that's been going on, and obviously the feelings they've made known to him. But if you were as tardy, if your timeline and stuff was as shitty with this person or anybody else, if you were involved with somebody and you were in a relationship, you pull that shit enough times, they will fucking leave you. Because they will find out that you're unreliable. And you cannot have that quality as a partner. You need to be reliable. And one of those things is, sometimes you're going to be late. And if there's a good enough excuse for it, or there's something else that happens, shit happens, it's okay. You roll with that. Shit doesn't have to happen with this guy. He's just, I don't get it. Like, you have dedication on this. It's like, be dedicated in being fucking punctual. Just, it's not that fucking hard. It's really not. Like, you have to make a conscious decision, and eventually, you know, even if it's not meant to be malicious, it becomes a malicious thing by proxy because you're not prioritizing that part. And it's not going to just affect me. It's not affecting some of your other friends. It's got to affect other things as well. It has in the past, even for him professionally. I will not go any further into that. However, fucking just don't. If you have to make a decision eventually, like, you're not making money off of this. This is not your job. So don't prioritize it over other things. I've had to learn that the hard way. Like, I wanted to prioritize this, or I wanted to have it be a much more important thing. And it's just kind of, you have to make a choice eventually that you either take it seriously. If you're taking it seriously and it's actually worth taking that seriously, cool, fine. If not, you have to level it off. You have to find a good ground on that. You know, if you want to stream every day, fine, but you have to eventually come to a realization. If you're starting late and it's going to throw the rest of your day off, don't do it. Or make it fucking shorter. You're like, I need to be done. With him, it has to be. And if he's not even with his age now, he needs to fucking see a doctor and get it diagnosed. Because he's always complaining about his short-term memory, and I'm just like, then do something about it. Because you remember shit from 25 years ago with fucking perfect clarity, but you can't remember what I told you 5 minutes ago. And he's just like, oh, you know, I get asked when I'm like, hey, remind me to do this tomorrow. I'm like, I'm not not even your mom needs to do that. Like, I'm not here to fucking remind you shit. You have a calendar on your phone. You can set alarms for it. You can set multiple fucking alarms for it. Remind yourself. Like, if it's that bad, you have medical insurance. Go see somebody. Because it is an issue. And that's what really pisses me off. And I don't know, maybe I'm reaching a point. I don't want to. He's my friend. I give a fuck. Obviously, I wouldn't be complaining about it right now. But it's just one of those things where I'm just like, dude, my patience wears thin sometimes. And if you making me late makes me look bad, even if people understand it's not me. But it's also another thing where it's like, it's going to affect you in other ways that you're not aware of yet. And you have to get that shit sorted out, amongst a lot of other things. I mean, he went out, where he is right now. I talked to him in a very kind of, I broached the subject in a very ham-fisted way right around the time we were in LA, and it was just kind of like, you're driving cross country to see somebody that you're not involved with. You're spending multiple days getting out there, and you're going to spend multiple days getting back because you're choosing not to fly, which I'm just like, I okay. You're not going to fly domestically, but you're going to, you know, eventually fly back to Japan. I'm like, you kind of probably should get used to flying again in general, and maybe cut some of that fucking time out and take some extra days just for yourself. But I told him, I was just like, this is somebody you've been going after for a while. As far as I know, they've told you they're not interested in being with anybody, not just you, just anybody in general. And this was known a long time ago. And you're driving multiple days to go out there. I wouldn't drive that far for somebody I'm not involved with. I wouldn't make that trip. You know, I'll make that trip for friends, and I'll make that trip for people I'm with. But not for somebody where I want to be with them, but it's clearly not happening. And it's a tough thing, because it's like, I speak from experience on this. If someone tells you they're not interested in being with anybody or just with you in general, and they're kind of giving you that either directly or kind of indirectly, just telling you, hey man, hold on, I gotta bring that off screen. There we go. Don't keep the lights on for me. Don't wait. Listen to them, because I've been in that case where I've been told that. And I went, okay, and I ignored it. And it comes back to bite you in the ass when you finally realize how much fucking time you've wasted and the damage it can do to you in long term. And Chris is getting older, and he's never really been with anybody. I understand his thought process on that. It's like, you like her, you want to be with her, but it's and I told him, it's like, dude, you probably should bring it up to her one more time. And if you get either, if you, yeah, I just saw that, sorry. If you get a fucking non-committal answer on that, you need to make it clear. Like, if you like this person as a friend and you want to be their friend, then you need to go, okay, I gotta draw a hard line, and then that's it. But if you are like, I want to be your friend, but I want to be with you and it's not going to work out, then you have to make that decision. Because at this point, it's been like, what, 10 years? I would have fucking stopped a long time ago. You know, I've made that mistake, and I try to be like, dude, I've been there. Because I think when it's like, you know, if she's not, didn't she say she's not with anybody? She's like, you know, she's not interested. She's like, well, he's like, well, she's not with anybody, so there's still a chance. And I'm just like, dude, that's not how that fucking works. Just, you have to fucking make, I realize how hard it is. I've been single for a very long time, but it is not worth hurting yourself in the long run. And you're going to hurt yourself in the long run. And you're going to have to deal with that. And unless she plans on moving back out, like if you guys got together and it's like, is she going to move back out to Vegas? Maybe not. So are you going to move? Have fun. Especially if they're not completely aware of the hobbies you keep and the amount of shit you've accumulated over the years. If you have not warned them about that, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. I get the process. I get the thoughts behind it. I just know where it goes. And I wish I could have, especially that day where since I was so tired, I'm like, I wish I could have put it as succinctly as possible and as firmly, because it hurts when you finally realize how much time you've wasted. And you have to also then get past that point where you're no longer beating yourself up for wasting that much time. And some of that also comes with our friends, the Kindreds. They were a long distance couple that worked out. So I think maybe he has the idea that, you know, I can make a long distance relationship work out. It's like, it doesn't always. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's really fucking hard and you can't make it work. And I'm the kind of person now, I'm like, I would be a long distance relationship if I knew it fucking, if I knew I could make it work in some way. But I also know, as far as me in relationships and being with people, I even said this to my friend Brandy some time ago. I feel like the fact that I have been single for so long has made me more asexual than anything else. I want to be with somebody. I just don't know about the physical aspects of it. So I have no idea how that would work out. I would like to be with somebody, but it's more about having companionship than anything else, which is kind of strange, like considering how much stock I put into the physical aspects of relationships years and years ago. It's just like, I'm not there anymore. And I'm thankful for it. You know, it's a lot less self-damage doing that, you know, that I do to myself. So that's always good. Yeah, I haven't had people interested in me in years, and I'm also the kind of person, I'm like, unless I know this is going in the direction I would like it to go, I'm not going to drop those barriers just yet, because, you know, obviously being with somebody, there's a lot of vulnerability that comes with it, and you have to be careful. And again, I don't, as long as he's known this woman, I don't think he's ever been quite as honest about who he is as he would like to be, because I think he's probably ashamed of it. And it's like, they're going to find out one day. You might as well be honest with them earlier than later. God forbid, you know, if they moved into your house and they see that. It's the same thing. I've given him shit anyways, because I mean, for like a year now, he's like, I need to get my place cleaned up so people can come over. I'm like, then fucking do it. Like, you have 3 days off a week, homie. Just do it. Spend 1 day a week, you'll have it done in a month. If you spend one whole day sectioning out, start with your living room and kitchen first. Those are important areas. Work on the fucking den. Work on the other areas. Like your bedroom, that's your problem. Nobody goes in there. Clean the bathroom. You know, just get the areas that you know people are going to tread, get them cleaned up. He's been there 16 years now? 15, 16 years? And obviously, for the last 3 years, like, the only people that have gone in are like handymen and his mom and him. As far as I know, it's like that. There's shit in that house that I've bought that he had shipped there that he doesn't know where it is. So I'm like, I'll get it next decade, I guess. He's gonna see this VOD and be pissed. I feel like I'm dunking on him, and I'm not. I'm frustrated, because I'm as frustrated as I would be with most other people, where I'm like, I know you can be better than this, and you don't fucking you. And that's a weird line to tread, because, you know, sometimes, fuck, I told him I would come clean it up. It's like, dude, just pay me. I'll come over. You ain't gonna like it. It's gonna be like, she blinded me with science. You're gonna be like, you've tied it up, and now I can't find anything. But like, I know it's like, I don't think he deals with, maybe he doesn't deal with depression. My current roommate Brian does, which is why the house I live in's in the state it is. And it's hard, because you're just like, I get it, but I'm also kind of like, dude, this is your house. Like, this is the place that you should take care of. Like, if everything else sucks, at least if the place you're in makes you feel better about things, cool. But it's like, the state of a lot of the stuff there is, you have been in a bad place for a while, and I don't know what will bring you out of it, and you've kind of just let the place manifest. It's a physical manifestation of your own unhappiness. And it's also kind of like, it's really sad when you think, like, all the people that could own a fucking home, and you own this home and you don't give a shit. And it's the same way. It's like, you know, I want people that are in my life to have, you know, feel good, or just feel as good as they can and be better. And it's really frustrating when it's like, you can be better than this, but you continue to choose to not be better than this. Like, you're making the same mistakes over and over again. You keep going, oh, well, you know, this happened or this happened. It's like, those excuses only work a few times. And if you've been using those excuses for about as long as I've known you, they don't work anymore. Like, you're just, you know, went from, oh yeah, okay, to roll your eyes, to now it's kind of like I'm in that phase of, you're just actively pissing me off, because I just want to fucking take you by the shoulders and go, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're old enough to not know this, or you're old enough to know that you shouldn't be doing this. That if you keep making the same mistakes, it's not the problem of the mistake, it's you. You are making the mistake. And now you have to fucking figure out why. And you need to figure it out eventually. Because in some cases, it's like, man, some people are just gonna fucking decide, you know what, I'm not gonna put up with you. Or they'll put up with you very, very little. And they'll be like, okay, well, you know, they might be here. It's like, other than that, it's like, you're just going to become unreliable. So I told him when we were going to Little Tokyo and we were going to LA, I was just like, if we're going to do this, we're leaving on time. We're leaving on time. We are not. He still did a stream that morning too, and it was super early. And it's like, okay, well, he at least got it done, and we left on time. We were actually slightly late getting out because we had to get his fucking tires. We had to find a tire pump to get that pressurized so they were, a good enough pressure when we hit the road. Even with that delay, we were still made pretty good time. But it was one of those things where it's like we're not leaving late, because if I tell you you need to be here by 4:45 so we can hit the road by 5, and we'll get there, around 9:30, 10 o'clock. If that had turned into like, oh, we're hitting the road at 7, I would have been like, we're just not going. Because now we're going to get there too late. We're not going to have as much time as I would like us to have. It was just not going to work out. And, for a little bit, I was kind of kicking his ass. And when we were going over for Friday movie night, we actually were making good time. We were arriving when we needed to. And then that went away. And I cannot be the person that is always like, where the fuck are you? When you're not looking at your phone because you're still a half hour from finishing your stream that you started late because you've been doing something else, and you go like, oh yeah, I got too busy looking at my phone. I'm like, if you know it's a problem, don't do it. Like, if you can commit to working out every single day, you can commit to not doing some of the things are problems. So, anyways. Lots of judgment, obviously, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's maybe it's more frustrating to me than it really needs to be, but I can't help it. Like I said, I want people I know to be in a good spot, and things are tough anyways, and you're not going to always have a window into what people's lives are like, but at least when you see enough of them and you see them, what you kind of can help them out with, and you want to. And right now I got a lot of time on my hands, so of course I'm thinking about lots of things all at once. So anyways, it is 7 o'clock. I am gonna sign off here now that I'm done bitching. Let's see, today's Sunday. I'll be back on probably near the end of the week. I'll get some stuff done and have more to talk about. Most likely, like I said, I'm hoping to get down to the museum. Take some pictures too, maybe take some video. I don't know if they might be okay. It might be okay with photos. I don't know about video, but I'll take my camera with me anyways. Yes, I need to get more cat pics. I haven't taken a lot. But usually it's them sleeping, so it'd be the same fucking picture like most of the time. Maybe I'll get a video of them eating, but I'd have to take it in the kitchen. The kitchen's got a lot of stuff in it. And again, I'm trying not to show off the house, and especially in areas where it's kind of like, oh, it might be not the best. But yeah, I'll be back a little bit later in the week. I'm still here till the 16th, as I said. So if I'm not back by like Friday or Saturday, then I'll have one by Sunday. That's fine. I was about to say, I like seeing old ads from comics. Bring them on. That was one of my favorite parts, especially 80s comics, when you're seeing lots of stuff with like TSR and, oh, buy this game book, or here's a sci-fi thing, or advertisements for long since dead cartoon shows. Those are always my favorite. But yeah, be on the lookout, and I'll be active on all the other places as well. So thanks for popping by. Thanks for hearing me. I won't have a good sign out because obviously I'm on the phone, so it's not going to be any of the normal shit. But yeah, be on the lookout for next time. Be well. Stay warm. If it's getting cold where you're at, I'm going to stay warm here. Grab me a snack and go watch War of the Gargantuas. So see y'all later. Thanks again, and have a good night. Uh-oh. Is my thumb going to get in the way of the camera? Oh, no. Where's the end button? There it is. Did it end? No, it didn't. Shit. Hold on. There we go. End now.